1954 when he became the first break to break the title, and it was seemingly would never be broken, and he broke it. My very first time I had a challenge in the Air Force for running, which I've run most of my life, was the mile and a half run. And I did it in 7:58. Now that doesn't sound fast since we talked about Roger doing it in 4 minutes, but that was flying. That was a base record. And it stood for a year till I broke it the next year at 7:54. So I know about running fast, and this 4 minute mile is blazing. Since Bannister did it, some 20,000 people have already broken it again. And get this, some of them were high school students. High school. It couldn't be broken. Nobody could do it. And it had never been done before. They didn't think it would ever be done. And all of a sudden, high school kids are doing. What changed? Well, that's an easy one. I can tell you what changed. We took the can't do part out of the equation. If we take the can't do out, then we inserted a could do. They believed they could do it. Our beliefs direct our paths. They believe that they could run a 4 minute mile because they've already seen somebody do it. See, your beliefs are very important. So people ask me, does it really matter what you, me, or anybody else believes? Yes, it matters a lot. Mark 9:23 says, and Jesus said to them, if I can, all things are possible for the one who believes. If I can. What do you mean, if I can? Of course they could. He could do anything. He's Jesus. But what you believe, you achieve. So, talking about faith, how does faith even play in beliefs? Well, I want to give you one out of Hebrews 11:6. It says, but without faith, it's impossible to please him, for he who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Faith is more than a belief, it's putting our belief into action. See, faith is all about action. You could say you believe something. Oh, I believe A, I believe B. But until you show me some fruit, some action, some faith, then I just don't believe it. I got to see it for myself. It's easy to say something. It's a lot more difficult to do something. Let me give you some statements about a belief. I think that are very important. It's important to examine your beliefs because you live your life based upon your beliefs and nothing else. I mean, where you are right now today is because of what you believe. What you've accomplished today is because of what you believe. What you believe may not always be right. You may have some self-limiting beliefs, some things that are holding you back. I mean, it's possible for you to believe something and it not be true or not be about you or not true for you, and it could hold you back. We see that happen all the time. If what you believe is not serving you well, I got an idea for you. Change. I mean, once upon a time, we thought the earth was flat. How would that work out for you now? You wouldn't travel too close because you might fall off. Just because your parents or your mentor, your friend, or your spouse told you the belief doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it might be right for you, or doesn't mean it's right now. So let me ask you a question. Deep question. You ready? Where are you going with your life? I mean, look where you are currently. Where do you think you would be? Where are you going? What's your plans for the future? I mean, you probably thought you'd be further along by now. You may have had some early problems, some things that maybe some bad decisions, some bad choices that kind of set you back a little bit. And now all of a sudden you think that this is your life, that you have to settle. Well, there's one problem with settling. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in settling. When I turned 50, I had a friend. I use that term loosely. I had a friend. He said, well, now that you're over the hill, it's all downhill from here. You're 50, so you're over the hill. And so I just simply said to him, well, not if you find another hill to climb. So at 50, I found some new hills. I wrote and published my first book. I completed a 50-mile ultramarathon. Really, it was 56 miles because I ran 3 miles out of the way and turned around and came 3 miles back. So a 56-mile ultramarathon, but officially it went down as 50. And I launched my speaking business, year 2, I did 78 paid events, which is pretty amazing for somebody who's brand new in the business. Fast forward 10 years, a decade, age 60, which I'm 62 now, I wrote and published my second book. I launched my new podcast thanks to Trent Denson and some other folks, and already completed probably about 50 shows together. See, it's a matter of if you're believing things and if you believe big. You believe big, you achieve big. You believe small, you achieve small. The size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. I'm going to repeat that so you can grab a pencil or a pen and write that down because I think it's true and I think it's powerful. The size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. I think it's been said by Henry Ford best. He says this, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Look, it's all up to you. I mean, you got to start taking responsibility for it. It's all up to you. I know this is hard to believe. Newsflash, you ready? I didn't go to an Ivy League school. I'm not the sharpest knife in a drawer. I'm not the brightest bulb around. I am the best looking. I'm probably the most talented. I'm the most athletic, but I've mastered humility. But other than that, the things I've accomplished is because I believed that I could do it. I believed in myself. And it takes two things. It takes belief, but it takes action. And if your actions and your beliefs are not serving you, change. I'm going to give you four things I want you to write down real quick. The power of belief resides in the ability to do these four things. You ready? Number one, belief creates vision. Did you get it? Belief creates vision. It's your how to, your why. It creates vision for you. Number two, belief creates strength of will. I just wrote next to that endurance. It takes endurance to get through this world. Number three, belief creates resilience. This is mind over matter. I learned that in special ops. Mind over matter. The bounce back materials, the things that you can do to be knocked down and get back up. Resilience. Number four, belief ignites and activates momentum. Momentum's important. If you ever have momentum go against you, you know it because it just turns the tide. But when it's for you, it could be against or for you. But when it's for you, it sure is good. It's a good thing. What you believe determines the following. I know you don't have time for this, so I'm going to run through them. You ready? What you believe determines all these things. You ready? What you say, what you do, your actions, your habits, your decisions, your clothing, your diet, your goals, your values, your confidence, your comfort zone, your fears, your self-esteem, your self-image, your career, where you live, who your friends are, who you spend time with, who you date, whether you get married or not, whether you have children or not, the life you live, and guess what else? Everything else, if there is anything else. I've discovered that today, just many people they just react and they just are on autopilot. They don't take time to think. Statement down. If you think about nothing, you're becoming nothing more. You think about nothing, you're becoming nothing more. I mean, what you think about, you bring about. And if you're not thinking about anything, you're not bringing anything. What you believe is so important. I can't emphasize it enough. I'm going to give you some keys, but what you believe is extremely important. Let me give you a few power statements. To see permanent change on the outside, you must first create the change of belief on the inside. I mean, you can change the outside. You could dress it up, but really permanent change is going to come when you change on the inside. When you know who you are not. I mean, a lot of times we're trying to be somebody that somebody else wants us to be. And it's not who we really are. We wind up living our lives as a lie because of what we've grown to believe. Beliefs are precious. It's how you live your life. And it's important what you believe. Let me give you the power paragraph for the day. This is the power statement. This is the crux of where we're trying to go. This is what you should be writing down. I am responsible for my life. I am responsible for my life. Look, if you've been playing the victim and the blame card all these years, it's time to stop. Take credit for what you've done. It's all your responsibility, nobody else's. You could say, I didn't have the chance. I didn't go to good schools. You could say all these things that are probably true and terrible, but how's that going to help you and how's that going to benefit you? And why do you believe that it's all you can do? Let me give you 10 keys and we'll be done. Number one, your beliefs influence your behavior. How you act is based upon your beliefs. And not only that, it doesn't only just influence your behavior, it influences the behavior with whom you have influence, the people you hang around. Have you ever seen somebody come in, it's the life of the party, and they come in, man, and everything changes. And if they're not there, everything changes. It's just different. It influences behavior. Number two, it's better to fail and play than to play it too safe. It's better to fail than to play it too safe. Look, failure is not failure until you quit. And you'll know you're going to quit because you start neglecting things. And when you neglect something, that's the first step to quitting. So as long as you get back up, you didn't fail. It's just another attempt. Sometimes things fall apart at the end, so better things can fall together. We've all seen that happen on the back roads of our life. We've seen things go astray, but something better come out of it. So it's not a failure. John Maxwell says it like this: sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. I wish I would have said that. And within the next probably 2 years, I probably will be the one getting credit for it. Number three, there's always an opportunity. Always an opportunity. It seems like there's blocked and dead ends and blocked roads, but there's always an opportunity if you believe that there is. You can recognize an opportunity. The world has to be a place of hope and possibility, not limits and obstacles and problems. And it's all about your belief and what you believe. Number four, the only thing you can truly control is yourself. I'm talking to control freaks now. If you really want to grow, you got to let go. You can only control yourself, and that's it. There's nothing else that you can control. Your effort, your attitude, just you. That's it. If you're trying to control other people, it's a losing battle, and you're wasting time and energy, and you're changing your beliefs to the negative, not the positive. Let me give you a power statement. Your income will rarely exceed your level of personal development. Your income will rarely exceed your level of personal development. How you doing on it? Are you trying to get better? Are you learning? Are you live, grow, and doing? At my groups, when I speak upon this title, which we've done several times, I always have them stand up and say the following: the best chance of me getting everything I want and everything I need is me. And I tell them to write that down somewhere and repeat that 100 times a day till they get it ingrained that it's all on them, that they're their best chance. And the best chance for you to get things is to grow and personally develop. Work harder on yourself than you do anything else. Number five, hard work and perseverance are always rewarded. It may not be like you thought, it may not be a reward that you wanted, it may not be at the time that you wanted, it might not be on your timetable, your schedule. It may surprise you, but every time you work and you do the right thing and you do your best, you're getting a little bit closer to being who you really want to be. You raise your value. You want to raise your value because you're compensated for the value you bring to the marketplace. And if you don't know how valuable you are, how do you know what your price is? How do you get improved value? How do you get improved price? Number six, success is a destination. It's rarely a straight one. And look, life is messy and chaotic. It's messier than I want to be. It's not linear. It's not a straight line. There's back roads that you got to get on. There's detours. But some of the best things you'll learn is on the back roads and on the detours. Number seven, history will always be our best teacher. I'm not talking about living in the past. People that live in the past got psychological problems. Don't do that. But learn from the past and move forward. Spend most of your time looking ahead. Number eight, everything's going to be all right. Maybe not today, but everything will be all right eventually. I always heard a statement that I think is very true. Everything's going to be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Hang on. There's more to come. Number nine, I could do anything, but I can't do everything at once. I'm not saying you can't be an astronaut or a professional athlete or a lawyer or a doctor or a candlestick maker or a butcher. I don't know what you want to be. I think you could be anything you want to be. You may not be the best at what it is, but you could be anything that you want to be. You could do all things. The question is, you can't do all things and everything at the same time. You can't be all those things. So what's happening to us is that we're spread so thin. We're 2 miles wide and an inch deep. We don't have room to take any roots. So what happens to us is when the bad times come, we dry up and wither away. I'd rather you be about 2 foot wide and 2 foot deep and keep growing and keep digging and keep expanding, getting bigger and smarter as you go. Focus on the things you want to specialize in. I said it early. You could do something, you could do anything, but you can't do everything at once. That's number nine. Number 10, I already have everything I need to get started. I like it when people say, I'm going to get started on my diet the first of the month. Come January, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. They're putting off till the kids get out of school, or wait till fall break gets here, or wait till the new year, or when I lose more weight, when I get a job promotion. You've got everything you need to get started right now. All it takes is a step, and then another, and then another. You don't have to know the entire way. You just got to know next. Because no matter what you think, you're a believer. If you believe that there is a God, you believe in God. If you think there's not one, you don't believe it. but you believe something. You're a believer in whatever it is. If it's good, it's bad, it's whatever. You believe it. A few simple changes in beliefs can make all the difference. Look, I don't know what your beliefs are now. I'm not with you. If could spend 15 minutes with you, I could figure it out pretty quick. If I could see your Prime account on Amazon, I could figure it out really fast. Let me give you a dig deep. Do you have places in your life where you simply react versus think? Have you lost the art of thinking for yourself? Do you Google everything before you even think about it? When's the last time you sat down in a room with just you, a legal pad and a pen, and wrote down every thought that came to your mind? When's the last time you did something like that? Allow yourself the time to think about your life and your future, where you want to be, what you want to do. What are you going to do from now till dead? Where do you want your life to go? If you can think it, you can achieve it. But I always tell people, don't just think it, ink it. Your beliefs direct your paths. It's important. Be careful what you believe because that's your future and it depends on it. I believe I'll see you on the next time we meet. I want to invite you to something. Super Friday is going to be October the 15th. It's at the Murfreesboro Embassy Suites. It's from 9:30 for a networking time to 11 o'clock. Everybody's invited. Everyone's invited. And the title of it is called The Root of Success. I want to personally invite you to come. I hope to see you on October the 15th. That's the title of Our Beliefs Direct Our Paths. I could live in Arizona, brother. I could too. Have you been there? Scottsdale? Yeah, Tucson. Yeah, Tucson. It's beautiful. It is. How long did it take? About 12 minutes, 10 minutes? I think it was 16. 16, a little longer than I thought. All right, 17. So yeah, our beliefs direct our paths. Our beliefs direct our paths. Seems like we're more upscale when we're down at the studio, baby. Just get you, just step up. Yeah, it really is. All right, you ready? Ready. All right, 3, 2. Welcome back to Don Day Speaks podcast. It's called Live, Grow, and Do because we want you to live life to the fullest. We want you to grow every day, and we want you to do something with what you learn. Live, grow, and do. That's the whole reason we do the podcast. I got a great one for you today. It's called Get Back on Track Now. Get back on track. That's today's title. And the reason why we're doing it is because 2020 knocked us all off track. So I'm going to give you some tips and some ideas on how to do personal development. It's a personal development session. And I do think you need to be present to win. This is where you've got to make some notes. This is going to be fast and furious, and I want you to get the most out of it. So grab something to write with and get ready to make some notes because we're going to lay it down for you. Give you some power statements to begin with, like I like to do. First one is you can have more than you got because you can become more than you are. That's personal development in itself. You can have more, be more, do more, serve more because you can become more, but you have to do it. Zero growth will keep you off track. You need to grow a little every day. Number 2, unless you change who you are, you'll only get what you've always got. That's the definition of insanity, I think. If you don't change who you are, you can't expect things to change around you. You're going to attract the things that you believe and see and do within yourself. You're going to settle. Stop settling. I love this third one. I wish I had taken it. I wish I had credit for it. Your income does not far exceed your current level of personal development. Your income does not far exceed your level of personal development. I mean, where you are currently is pretty much where you maxed out. You want to make more money? It's up to you. Grow. Have more to offer. Bring more to the marketplace. Success is something you attract, not something that you pursue. What are you becoming? I love when I interview agents to come to a new agency and they say, well, I wanted to see what I get if I come to work with you. And I say, I think it's more important that you don't focus on what you're getting. You focus on what you're becoming. If you come to work with us, you can become A, B, C, D, and all these things. It's not necessarily what you're going to get because the getting is later after you become the most that you can and get to where you need to be with personal development. People ask me, where do I get my basic laws and ideas and things from? Well, it's from the Bible. It's practical and it's spiritual. It's all the things that I need, and it gives me good direction. And it is a living, it's a scripture is a he, not an it. Things are not going to change until you have to change and get back on track. It's all up to you. Let me give you the 2022 weather report forecast. You ready? It's going to be opportunity mixed with challenges. Opportunity mixed with challenge. That's the forecast for 2022. Well, Don, how do you know that? Because it's the forecast for 2021, 2020, 2019, 2015, 2074. It's the same thing no matter what year it is. It's always going to be opportunities mixed with challenges because with every opportunity comes obstacles. Philippians 3:13 and 14 say, brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it, but one thing I do, forgetting what's behind, straining toward what's ahead, I press on toward the win to the prize. I'm trying to tell you that right now, I don't have it all figured out either. But I've learned and I've learned and I've learned and I've enacted these things and I've taken action on them and I'm learning again and I'm learning some more and I'm trying to share with what I've already learned in case you're one step behind me here. I can get you in tandem with me because I'm learning as I go. I'm going to give you 20 fast keys. You ready? Number one, control anger. I've never seen people more angry than they are today. Everywhere is road rage, people shooting people because somebody cut you off or other flipped you off. Whatever they did, you shoot at their vehicle and try to kill them. There's more murders, more thefts, more shootings, more violence, all at an all-time high. Lawlessness is on a rampage. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me. We can control our anger. It's not good to lose your temper. Two, don't harbor resentment. Don't harbor resentment. Don't allow yourself to become resentful, arrogant, deceitful. It just corrupts you. It keeps you off track. I had a good friend that he and his wife got into it, and they had a pretty bad discussion, whatever you want to call it, a fight. And she decided she'd give him the silent treatment for 24 hours. Well, he didn't know it. She gave him the silent treatment. He thought he was doing good. He thought they were getting along famously. She was working hard. She was harboring a resentment. She was working hard at being mad and being quiet. And he didn't even know it. That's the problem with resentment and harboring it. It only affects you. It doesn't affect the other person you're resentful of. Number three, self-control is morality. I had to learn this the hard way. Self-control is morality. I think that fear, cowardice, afraid of getting caught keeps many of us honest. Once you lose that fear, all bets are off. If you're not afraid of the police, if you're not afraid of repercussions, if you're not afraid of getting in trouble, if you're not afraid of getting caught, you may try something that you wouldn't normally do. Morality keeps self-control. It keeps things honest. Number four, keep yourself in check. You know that 94% of what we worry about never happens. Write this down. We suffer more in worry than reality. We suffer more in worry than reality. We worry too much. It's making us old before our time. Number five, there's a difference between thinking and paying attention. If you're thinking, you're focused on what comes to your mind. If you're paying attention, you're aware of things that come into view around you, allowing your mind to process it and take it all in. And that's more like what I want to try to get a point to you. Paying attention, your self-awareness. We've got to know what's going on around us anymore. I think they're going to start putting street signs and all kinds of direction signs on sidewalks because we walk around with our cell phones in our hands looking down. We're not looking up anymore. We're not paying attention. We're focused, but just on what? Number six, surprise yourself more often. Surprise others. You might ask where I got that from. Several months ago, I got invited to go down to the VA in Nashville to visit with somebody who they thought didn't have long to live. And somebody called me and said, "I'd love for you to go down and pray with him. You're retired Air Force. He would respect you. If you would go, it would really mean a lot to the family." So sure. I went down, and while we were trying to figure out where the guy was and where his room was, I saw a little old man sitting in a corner watching TV. I walked over to him. He had on a World War II hat, and I said, "Hey, are you here for treatment?" He said, "No, I drive my son here every month." And I said, "Well, how old are you?" He said, 101. 101, and you're driving? My gosh! And your son is coming for treatment, and you're bringing him? Not the other way around. And he said, "Yeah, I've been bringing him for a couple of years. Every month he gets treatment." I said, "Well, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? I'm really respectful of anybody that's older than me that's lived this long. You're a fountain of wisdom. Can I ask you a couple of questions? What would 100-year-old you tell a 60-year-old you?" So, well, probably three things. He said, "Number one, I'd save more money. Takes a lot of money to live 100 years. I'm okay. I'm not broke, but I can't do all the things I like to do. Can't help where I need to help. I'd save more money. Number two, I'd surprise myself more often." So what do you mean? He said, "I don't know. I'd maybe if I didn't like riding horses, maybe I'd try it again and surprise myself. Maybe watch a movie or read a book that I wouldn't normally read, or talk to somebody that I would surprise myself more often." He said, "But most important thing is I think I'd surprise other people more often. I would get real joy out of surprising somebody else, blessing somebody else, gifting somebody else." Fast forward that to May of this year, and my wife and I were in Florida, and we stay at this beach where it's pretty private, and the people that stay there pretty much live in the development. And we saw a young couple that didn't like they had much. They had some plastic bags and some towels, and the kids were screaming, yelling. It was hot and standy. And my wife says, "We need to do something for them." I said, "Let's surprise them." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I don't know. Let's just do something that would surprise them." So we took them $100 bill down there and gave it to them. They didn't want it. They tried to say no. We insisted, and we prayed with them, and we just spent some few minutes with them and wished them the best. And it really put a surprise on their face, but more importantly, it put a surprise in our heart. So I think that the important one to learn today would be that you save money, that you surprise yourself, but more importantly, you surprise others more often. Number seven, easy for people to believe that they're better than they really are. Look, we love ourselves. I tell almost every group we could all write a book. It would be titled, "I Ain't Much, but I'm All I Ever Think About." Chapter one, me. Chapter two, me. Chapter three, you talk about me. Chapter four, more about me. We love ourselves. It's normal. If you don't think that's true, when you see a group photo, take a look at it. Who's the first person you look for when you see a group photo? Yourself. If you look good, the picture's great. If you don't look good, take it again. We love ourselves. It's easy. It's normal. Whether it's singing, teaching, working, or others, sometimes we give ourselves more credit than we deserve. Number eight, don't be hypersensitive or easily offended. Stop taking yourself so seriously. Not everything that's said is said seriously. Some people are just jokesters, and then maybe they're terrible at it, but they're not trying to offend you or make you mad. They're just joking around. And look, the other thing is what other people think about you really none of your business anyway. "But Don, you don't know what they said. But Don, you don't know what they did. You don't know what I've been through." My name has changed since I started these speaking events and writing books from Don to But Don. But Don. Yeah, I do. You think you're exempt? Do you think you're the only one? You don't think it happened to me too? Happens to all of us. But we got to get past that, not take stuff so seriously. Number nine, address problems in the early stages. Don't let them grow. Confront things at the first sign of a problem. Nip it, as Barney would say, in the bud. Fear will grow over time. You got to act on it quickly. Address problems early on. Number 10, don't sweep things under the rug. If you do this, it's just going to mount up and you'll trip over it and break your leg. Don't sweep stuff under the rug. You'll fall over it someday. Number 11, you need to search for meaning or you'll actually be corrupted because of the suffering. In this world, you will have trouble. Jesus said it, and I believe it. So be a good cheer. I have overcome the world. So I think you need to figure out why you're here, what your purpose is, how you can help, how you can be a part, how you can add value to others, because suffering is going to come. And if you're not doing something that's purposeful, you'll just be succumbed to the suffering. You'll either be an overcomer or you'll be overcome. I suggest you learn to be an overcomer. Purpose in life versus problems and challenges. Your purpose will trump those other things. You need a reason to get out of bed every day when things are just difficult. You can get out of bed and move forward. We could do difficult things. It's not impossible. Number 12. Do you manage temptations of your life? I got a better question. How do you manage them? We're all tempted. Temptations come to us in all variety of manners. The answer is, how do you do it? What's the question? Well, the question is, how do you manage and you take care of your temptations of life? How do you do it? Are you successful at it or you succumb to it? We're all tempted. You got to practice avoidance to stay on track. Number 13. Are you overwhelmed in life somewhere? Yeah, probably more than one place, right? Well, that's not the problem. The problem is not, are you overwhelmed? Yes. What are you doing about it? How do you attack it? How do you feel that you get out of being overwhelmed? Because when you're overwhelmed, you're not doing yourself any favors. Number 14. When you create a void, what do you fill it with? Look, the pandemic created many voids. What'd you fill them with? New habits is going to be required because the old habits need to change. Get back on track. The way we shop, the way we dine, the way we worship, the way we work, all that stuff was done. It left a void. What did you fill it with? And do you need to make a new habit because the one that you filled it with was not especially good for you? Number 15. Things under your control. Start with what you know. Lack of sleep, exercise, whatever it is that you need to change, start with one thing that would harm you the most. Make that change there. Fix your life first before you get involved with other areas. Sometimes when we have all these problems, we want to take our focus off of it. So we get involved with community activities, volunteer, take on other things. Don't do that. When you're on the airplane, they say, get your oxygen mask on secured first, then you can help others around you. Same idea. Number 16, when you know who you are not. I use that often because I know who I am. I had identity shift after identity shift, but I know who I am in each season of my life. I mean, be like a kid. Kids are authentic. Back before the pandemic, at my church, I greeted at one of the doors, a really busy door. And there's a little boy that runs up to me and gives me fist bumps and, talks to me. And he's usually runs in front of his parents. One day, he was much ahead of his parents, probably 50 feet, running straight at me. And when he got to me, he says, my mom and dad just got in a big fight. I looked at his parents and they just shook their heads and they were kind of embarrassed. And I thought, kids tell the truth. Be authentic. You may not want to tell about the fight you're in, but you may want to be more authentic and more truthful and stop living for someone else and stop living a lie. You do you with whatever time you've got left. Number 17, we're almost finished. Uncertainty. It's training because your body, like facing fear, it doesn't know what to expect next. When you're uncertain, you're in a constant state of panic. Look, here's what I want you to think about for a minute. What in your life are you really certain of? If you took a piece of paper and drew a line down the middle of it, things that you're certain of on one side and the rest on the other, how many things would be on the certain column? What are you really certain of? Do you have more uncertainty in your life than you do certainty? It's not a good place to be. What are you uncertain of? Number 18, stack habits, mini habits, consistency rules. Listen, habits are 100 times stronger than desires. If you expect to grow and to do things you want to do, you got to make sure the old man doesn't get in every day. You got to break those old habits. It's a daily battle. Number 19, wash your face. What? Don, what are you saying? Number 19 is wash your face. Write it down. Look, we don't want to see yesterday's mess and dirt and challenges on your face today. I'm sure you went through a lot of things yesterday. You'll go through some more things today. You'll get some coming tomorrow. But every day we should wash our face. Live for now. Live for tomorrow. Forget yesterday's mess. Don't wear it like a badge of honor. Wash your face. Do it in the morning. Do it in the evening. Get the mess off your face before you go to bed and certainly get it off your face before you start your day. Forget what's behind, press on toward the prize. And number 20, my favorite one, celebrate small wins with a ta-da moment. People ask me, what is that? Well, in many of my group sessions, if you've ever been in one, I'll have my folks get up and do a ta-da moment. Well, give me an example. When my grandson Finley was learning to swim, all the kids learned how to swim in my pool at my house. They took lessons there. When he would get done, I would go by and try to see him 15 minutes after his lessons. Show me what you learned today, Finley. And he would run up to the table and show me something in the pool and then run back to the table and say, ta-da. Then he'd go back out in the water and show me something else and come back up and say, ta-da. And we'd all clap and go crazy. Somewhere after 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, we stopped doing ta-da moments. If it's not a Grand Slam home run, we don't celebrate it. Well, I got news for you. There's more small opportunities to celebrate than there are big ones. And if you do celebrate the little ones, your beliefs begun to believe that you could do bigger and better things. And so have a ta-da moment. So if you were with me right now, I'd have you stand up, and in your loudest voice, I'd have you give me a ta-da, just like a kid. And so I do it in my own mind when I have things are done. When I finish today doing these podcasts, in my mind, I will be doing a ta-da moment. You could do it too. I won't have you stand and do it, but you see where I'm going with it. You've already have everything you need to be uber successful, but it's going to take everything you got. You got what you need, but it's going to take everything you got. Well, that's the end of today's lesson. I hope that you learned a couple things that you can apply to your own life. And I hope that you'll share this with other people and give us a 5 rating and come back and listen to us again. We'll drop these every Monday. Until next time, we'll see you then. That is get back on track now. You got time for one more? I think I could do one more. I'm not doing these every dang day like somebody I know. It's hard to be everything and do everything. You can't do everything at once. You can do anything, but you can't do everything at once. Only guy I know that doesn't need glasses to read. Me. Welcome back to Don Day Speaks podcast. We're glad you're here. The title of the podcast is actually Live, Grow, and Do. If you're looking for it on Apple or Spotify, Live, Grow, and Do. We want you to live every day to the fullest. We want you to grow as much as you possibly can every day. And then we want you to do something with it. That whatever you learn or whatever you're learning, you do something with it every day. It's personal development at its best. So today we got a good show for you. It's called Success at Every Age. Success at every age. I don't know about you, but I've got a few years on me now. I'm 62, and I've tried to have success at every age. You got to work on it. It's not something that happens just by itself. It's never too late to make a difference in your life or the lives of others. I mean, sometimes doing something for somebody else is just as important as doing something for yourself. Every season of life brings new opportunities as well. And it may be a little different perspective. Just never stop learning, never stop growing at any age. I don't think we ever retire from learning and growing. We just keep learning and keep growing and keep doing. When I was young, I always heard the following statement countless times. When you have your health, you have everything. But when I was young, I was healthy. I never really understood the truth of that one thought. My adult life and most of my childhood life was full of running, exercising, playing sports, exercise, going through obstacle courses, marathons, ultra marathons, endurance events, swimming. I've always been in pretty good health. I was in the Air Force for 20 years. I was a warrior, always in good health. Fast forward to when I turned 60. I experienced a torn Achilles tendon, a heel spur, and plantar fasciitis all in the same year. After many appointments with physicians and surgeons and followed by weeks of physical therapy, I began to think and lose your health, you lose yourself. It's if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And months of not exercising left me discouraged, disappointed, distraught. And the beautiful thing is, the physicians and therapists and the physical therapist kept reminding me, well, you're not as young as you once was. The healing process takes longer when you get older. Old age is no place for sissies. When you have your health, you have everything. If you don't, you don't. So I learned to practice good health habits and practices and try to eat right most of the time. I still go to the Waffle House, but I don't go there every day. I still try to do the right things. Here's what I've discovered it is at any age: just move more, eat less. Move more. Just keep on the move. You got watches that'll tell you we've got every opportunity now. Let me give you a couple power statements. Number one, everyone is on their own schedule. Look, some people want to retire young while others want to never retire. Some want to stay active while others are just too old. And they get the idea: stop trying and compare yourself to others. You just got to stop worrying about what other people are doing. This is all about you. I always tell my groups all the time, we could all write a book. I ain't much, but I'm all I ever think about. It's all about you. This is true. This is about you. You need to worry about what you're doing and what you want to do, not what other people are doing. Number two, everyone's wired differently. Work at your own plan. Just because someone didn't plan ahead and now they're in a hurry doesn't mean you got to be in one. It's one thing to be accommodating, yet another thing to be tossed around by somebody because they had a failure to plan. I always say, craft a plan for the rest of your life and execute the plan. Don't let others force you off your plan, because they will. It's all about them, not all about you, right? My favorite one is never settle. I never settle. If you looked at my wife, you would know I didn't settle. I married up. I've had some nice cars and some nice houses and some nice vehicles because I didn't settle. I worked hard for it. Never settle. I have a business friend that has settled for his entire life due to his own concessions. He tells me all the time. He said, "I never bought a new car in my life. I've never bought any name brands in my life, just generic versions for food, medicine, electronics, clothes, cars, vehicles, you name it. He only buys the off brand, if you will. To him, name brands were always too expensive. He and his wife only traveled when it was for work or if they could stay with a relative. They didn't want to bear the cost of hotels. And now later in life, as we just have a few minutes to share with one another, he tells me about places he would have loved to have seen, things he wanted to experience, things he wished he had done earlier in his life when he had better health, when he had other opportunities. Now he thinks he's too old or it's too late for him, so he'll just continue to settle. I find that's very sad. I understand and agree with being smart with your money. I'm very intelligent with money. I haven't always been, but I learned some lessons. You can't allow fear of not having enough keep you from experiencing life. The trips I take with my family and my kids and my grandchildren and my friends, the memories are priceless. The trip's expensive, but the memories are priceless. Don't settle for less in every area of your life. You deserve more. Be smart about it, of course, but you deserve more. Surprise yourself sometimes. Number next, be grateful for everything. Look, when you're showing gratitude for the little things, you'll be glad and be easy to show gratitude for the big things. Learn to become a first-class contributor. Be generous. I think giving starts the getting. The more you give, the more you get. I'm going to give you a hard one. You ready? Be yourself. My wife used to tease with me. When I'd get ready to go up and speak, she'd say, "Now, honey, do remember, don't try to be funny nor cute. Just be yourself." What's that leave? You're not funny or you're not cute. What's it leave? Boring? Just be yourself. Problem is that your expectations usually don't match your dreams or your plans. So reality kicks in and you get discouraged because where you want to be is usually not where you are. So the question is, why? Why aren't you where you are? Did you waste energy chasing something that wasn't what you were supposed to do? Did you settle most of your life? Why are you where you are now, and why aren't you where you really want to be? Because life's a journey. It's to be enjoyed. We get one time under the sun. Make the most of it. Time is fleeting. You know, when you think about that, it's when you're at a funeral or you lose somebody. or you break up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, or you to get a divorce. The things that become most valuable is right before you lose it or right after you lost it. Becomes invaluable to you. Why can't you see that beforehand? Life's a journey. It's meant to be enjoyed. Time is fleeting. We are just a vapor, and that's it. You can begin to appreciate your journey when you start doing it every day. No matter how good or bad your situation is, it will change. Don't get too comfortable. Don't fret about the small stuff. Change is coming. We're just a vapor here today, gone tomorrow. Enjoy and embrace the present. For now is all we really have. I'm going to give you another tough one. You ready? Believe in yourself. I think I believe in people more than they believe in themselves. Many people will treat you by the way you present yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect other people to believe in you? If you don't have confidence in yourself, how can you expect other people to have confidence in you? If you don't love yourself, don't expect others to love you either. Raise your standard for yourself. You raise the standard. Don't wait till somebody else does it. Change. If you'll change, the world will change around you. I don't know how it works. I know John Maxwell says we cannot become what we need by remaining what we are. If you'll change, the world around you will begin to change. It's your attitude that needs to be changed. I had a friend that owns 5 or 6 McDonald's. I said, what are you paying these people these days? He said, well, we start them at $15 an hour. If they'll smile and whistle, I pay them $16 an hour. He'd want somebody with a good attitude. He's willing to pay more money for a whistle and a smile. Our lives are in constant change. One thing I know, that being here for 62 years, is change is inevitable. Growth is optional. You're going to come and go, and your birthdays are going to come and go, and you're going to be around however long you're supposed to be around, and it's going to happen, but that doesn't mean you're going to grow. It means you're just going to get old. Where do you need to grow in that change? What big new thing do you need to achieve for the season of your life? Where are you in your life right now that you really want to grow some more? What's it going to take? Without growth, you have nothing to give, and you can't give what you don't have. There's an opportunity for success at every age. It's just a matter of will you take it or will you not? We do these every Monday. We'd love to have you give us a 5 rating. If visit us, share it with others. We want to get it out as much as possible. It's live, grow, and do. Until next time, my friends, you live, grow, and do. That is success at every age. Let me tell you how impressed I am with your studio, buddy. I mean, it's top notch. It's me out of the office. What you got the rest of the day? Want to catch up? We have, I don't know if you know Tim Carroll. He's been to a few Super Fridays. He was with us a long time ago. He's buying a house in the reserve, 700,000. We got a final walkthrough today at 4, and then his closing's tomorrow at 9. Nice. We got a couple guys that are getting their license. Donovan and some of these guys who play that. That's a guy I need to have with the podcast. He plays basketball for MTSU. Oh, nice. Yeah, he's really that guy. Yeah, little black guy, really smart. Donovan Sim. That's awesome. He's gonna come to one of the closings and try to learn that. He's trying to get his license. Oh, sweet. Yeah. How'd y'all get connected with him? Mark's son knows him from school at MTSU. They're friends. That's really cool. I guess he's probably 20, 22.